Alright folks, you asked for it. Ever since my set of free liveries came out, the comments have been flooded with requests to please make custom uniforms. I was a little reluctant at first, but what can I say? I kinda like you guys. So get ready because today I have over 18 free custom real life uniforms for you to use throughout Liberty County. Make sure you subscribe, Zanies, to show a little bit of love because these were not easy to make. And truth be told, in the middle of me trying to figure out the Roblox studio and how to properly upload custom designs, I got a content warning violation directly from Roblox. That's right, I could have been terminated. What would you guys have done without me? Before I jump into it, I also want to cover 3 very quick things. Number 1, these are free for any server mods or admins to use. The asset IDs can be found in the description below. Number 2, if you do not own a server, there's unfortunately no free way for you to use these uniforms without having to pay Roblox a fee in the amount of 10 Robux per item. Yes, you heard correctly, per item. Therefore, I have spent my own Robux to upload every single design, which allows me to offer them to you at half the cost. Not to mention, it's a great way for you to support the channel and continue to inspire me to give back every chance I get. These can be bought directly from my Roblox group or simply search the Avatar store using the name shown on the screen right now. And number 3, just like the liveries, these uniforms are not perfect. As you'll quickly realize, there's a lot of blues, there's a lot of blacks, and variations of khaki uniforms throughout the US. In addition to all of this, all of the uniforms have the same double breast pocket design. I use the same duty belt across all styles, and I also use the same shoes for all uniforms. This helped me cut back on the time I spent per uniform. That's it. Here we go, boys. Enjoy. Starting off with Arkansas, I should also mention that the vast majority of these uniforms are actually going to render better on the R6 model versus the R15 model. And in case you don't know the difference, the R6 model is a really blocky kind of avatar, and the R15 model is the one you see on my screen right now with the more defined features such as rounded shoulders, arms, legs, forearms, etc. You guys know I'm from California, that's absolutely no secret, so here's the CHP for you boys. Over to Colorado now. As you guys can see, a lot of fine detail went to uniforms like this, especially these two-tone type uniforms. I very quickly learned that these are the uniforms that tend to have the stripes, the badges, the emblems. Sometimes they have ties, sometimes they have tie clasps. So yeah, pretty cool looking uniforms for sure. Over to Idaho now, and as I really started working on these uniforms, I also came to the realization that there's very few blacks out there in law enforcement, believe it or not. The colors you're seeing are more often than not either really dark grays or really dark blues. Keep that in mind next time you see a law enforcement uniform. In Indiana now, this is an absolutely gorgeous uniform, probably one of my favorite that I made. Just the way these blues play on each other with that stripe going down the center of that leg, it just looks absolutely amazing to me. Iowa State now. This is also a good time to mention that the vast majority of these uniforms are based on state officers. This means highway patrol, troopers, etc. So don't come out here looking for city uniforms. But But speaking of city uniforms, this is another throw to my home state. Here we have the LAPD, and once again, this is actually not a black uniform. This is a really, really dark blue. Trust me, I googled it. Over to Louisiana now, and I kind of laughed a little when I was making this uniform because these guys must be in love with the shape of their state, because not only do they have it in their badge, but they also have it on their patches, and I even saw a couple pictures of some officers wearing it as a tie clasp. So Louisiana must really love their L's. Another two-tone uniform here that just looks absolutely amazing with different shades of blue and even subtle hints of red. But here's Mississippi for you guys. Heading to Montana now, a gorgeous uniform, a very, very dark green, accompanied by a very, very dark khaki. Some of these colors I did have to brighten up a little bit just because the way they ended up rendering on Roblox ended up being too dark to the point where they didn't look like their true color. So if you see a slight difference in brightness, that's why. Coming over to Nebraska now, a very straightforward uniform. This was a very simple one to make. Heading to Nevada now, and yes, in case you're wondering, all the badges and patches should match the local entities. However, I did intentionally distort the image just enough so that you wouldn't be able to make out fine details. While I was doing this, I actually discovered that some agencies do have a trademark on their badges and patches, so gotta be a little careful there. Over to New Mexico now. The uniforms you're seeing here do not do these uniforms justice. Out of all the uniforms, I encourage you to Google the New Mexico State Police uniforms. They are absolutely gorgeous uniforms in person. Over to Oklahoma, wouldn't really expect anything else other than dark muted colors, because when I think of Oklahoma, I really just tend to think of farmland and open fields. I don't know, what about you guys? Let me know in the comments below. Here's for my folks in Pennsylvania, another gorgeous uniform, very straightforward. As I started wrapping up some of my designs, I came to the conclusion that I really am a fan of the uniforms that tend to have two-tone colors, one tone being dark, one tone being lighter. These uniforms just look really, really great. South Dakota now, this is a perfect example of what I was saying earlier. Had I made this uniform any darker, it would have not come out the way I wanted it to, so I did intentionally increase the brightness on the color for this one, but it still looks great if you ask me. Tennessee now. I don't really know what happened to the shirt on this one. As you guys can see, the edges are a little stretched. Well, quite frankly, the edges are a little stretched on all of them, but for some reason, you could tell a little bit more on this one. It could just be because of the lighter shade, but who knows? It still looks good. Almost wrapping it up with my folks over at Utah. And by the way, if you guys are from Utah, what the hell is on that patch? Is that like a honeycomb or something? Let me know in the comments below. I really want to know. But that thing is all over the place. It's on their cruisers, it's on their uniforms, patches, badges. It's everywhere. Let me know what that thing is. Over to Washington, just like the New Mexico uniform, this is a beautiful uniform if you ever get around to Googling some actual images of it. Great play on blue on blue on blue, because that's all this uniform is. And wrapping it up with my folks over at West Virginia, once again, had to go a little bit lighter, but I think you get the point. This is supposed to be a green on green uniform. Alright, Zanies, well, let me know what you guys think. If you're a developer, a mod, an admin, anyone that has their own server, you are more than welcome to use these. The asset IDs can be found in the description below. For anyone else, feel free to join the Zanies group, or feel free to search the Avatar store at Zany Official, and you'll be able to purchase any of these designs at half the cost. I don't know if there's going to be a part 2, because quite honestly, and like I said at the beginning of the video, some of these colors are pretty darn redundant, especially when it applies to state uniforms. I don't know if I want to go around hunting city uniforms, because that may take longer than I wanted to. But if you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. And as always, you never know when I might surprise you. Also, if you have any ideas for any of the other teams, let me know in the comments below. Alright, Zanies, that does it. I hope to run into my designs out there in the servers. And until next time, long live the Zanies.